If we're the creators, why do we create bad things into our lives? Hey guys, it's John here in the studio with my lovely mug of coffee on my coffee warmer. I hope you guys are having a great morning. It's beautiful here today, sunny, and just a lovely, lovely day. I'm going to spend some time in between some sessions sitting on my back deck, just breathing air, because I love that, being outside and feeling that air around me as I enjoy just being in that state. I got a comment here that came in on the videos that I want to respond to. So let me just read the comment and we'll just dive right in. John, you said, quote, "I had all those bad things happen to me," unquote. My question is, if we're creating our own reality, creating our own illusory world by the thoughts we are having, good and bad, why do you think we do that? In what way is that serving us? I understand we have a neutral, calm, forgiving response to the events happening, but why would we create a world like that in the first place? It's a great question, but it comes back to the sole reason why we're here in the physical world. We come here to experience our separation from love, and so in coming here to experience our separation from love, we have to have things that seem opposite, things that are based in fear, because fear is the opposite of love. People will say it's hate, but hate is just a product of fear. People fear other people, so they hate them. When you look at this question, why do bad things happen to me? Well, if you look at your life in a very unique perspective, now, I firmly believe we choose our potential pathway, but we always have our free will. We always have our free will. I also believe and know for my own self that life is eternal, that we leave the body, and on the other side, we are disconnected from the vehicle of the body that we travel in the physical world. So when I look at my choice, I chose a life to come into. And as I chose the life to come into, I understand fully that I have free will. And so I chose the potential life. Now, as a child, you come in, your veil is very thick, right? But what's interesting about an infant child, the veil is very thick because what they are in is they are more on the other side than they're here. Their consciousness is not fully in the physical. So they come into the body and they're living in this experience, and they don't have words and they don't understand how to function in this world. They say the number one way to learn a new language is to go live in the country and be immersed in it. They're coming from the other side and they're being immersed in this physical experience, and they've got to learn how to do all the things that are physical. Walk, talk, poop, pee, all the things that we do in the physical, they have to figure out why it's happening, right? And so we come here with the veil being very thick to the physical. So so they're coming in here and they're slowly feeling this separation of this. And what happens is they slowly develop belief, and those beliefs come from their experiences and from the people around them who are telling them what to believe. And so you have these underlying beliefs, like my parents were the parents of people who lived through the Depression. So my parents had a big lack mentality. They always felt that money was a struggle. And so they were passing that down through the generations, right? My family talks about how, heredity, you're going to have all these physical issues that you've had, right? They've had. And when you look at it from that perspective, it's like they're giving you the belief that this is what it is. We are, we all go bald in my family, so you're going to go bald. Well, it worked, right? So they give you the belief. These right here, one of the most fascinating things to me, when I was growing up, I had 20/14 vision. I could see the hairs on the back of a fly on the other side of the room. That's a joke, of course, but I had extremely good vision. And when I take my glasses off, I can still see the hairs on a fly over there. But right here up close, I have a tough time. It gets a little bit blurry here, right? Well, when I was 35, my mom told me when you hit 40, you're going to need reading glasses. And it was 1 month before I turned 40. I went to read my watch and I couldn't read it. Now you'll notice my watch has big numbers, right? Right. Um, I couldn't read it. 2 months before I turned 40, I was given a belief, right? Now, can I reverse this? I'm sure I can. I just haven't yet. And I may, but, I kind of like the way I look in glasses, actually. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this because why do we choose to make things hard? Why do we choose to have bad things happen? Well, our belief system draws what we believe. And if we're told to believe bad things happen, we're told to believe we're lacking, we're told that we live in a dangerous world, we're told that we live in these negative experiences by the people who we have no choice but to trust and believe because we are coming into this world and learning strictly from them, then what happens is we start creating just as they did. Now, there comes a point in your life where you have to take responsibility for your own beliefs. And some people will go to the day they die believing as their parents did. Right? My father was an alcoholic abuser, and his father was an alcoholic abuser. I don't drink, and my son's never had a hand laid on him. And so you have that ability to break those cycles. But it always comes down to your present moment choice. You can't experience the pure love of God, of the universe, of consciousness, of yada yada, without the idea of feeling what the opposite is. And so we come here, we experience our separation, and we experience our division from our true nature, which is love. And then what happens is, as we get older, and you'll notice this dramatically happen, as people get older, they tend to get less filters. Why do they get less filters? Because they get less afraid. They start just saying whatever they want to say. Don't really care. I remember my third marriage. My family flew to Galveston, Texas for my wedding. I hadn't seen my mom in quite some time. I walked up to my mom. My mom looked at me and says, "You got fat." I laughed out loud when she said it. I wasn't offended in any way, shape, or form. And I said, this is exactly what I said to her. "Filters getting a little thin there, Mom?" She laughed and we laughed. It was fine, right? As we come into this world, we're trying to process this world because we're coming through the veil, the opposite direction of the way we leave. And so children are more on the other side. They come into this world. They learn their beliefs. They learn their experiences. They come to the place and they live their life. And then come out the other side, we start to lose that veil. We start to lose those filters. I remember my grandmother, we called her Nana, and she said to one of my sisters, she says, "You're not waiting to have sex until you get married, are you?" My sister said, "No." She says, "Good, don't do that." Right? Now, when my grandmother grew up, that was unheard of, right? But in her mind, it was like, don't do that. It's a waste, right? So it really comes down to, we start to lose those beliefs that we live into, those experiences, those bad things that happen to us are just part of our experience. And they happen to us in our life because of our beliefs. They happen to us, somebody goes out jogging at 4 a.m. and they load themselves up with mace and everything else. They're setting themselves up to have problems because they're putting themselves into a situation where they believe it's dangerous to do what they're doing. And when you believe it's dangerous to do what they're doing, then you're probably going to have something dangerous happen. And like I said, I've been all over the world. I've been in the front lines of Iraq, Afghanistan. I traveled all over Egypt. I was treated beautifully everywhere, but I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid to go. I was excited to go. And when every person I met, I told them how much I loved their country, and I loved, the experience I was having, and I was sharing, and I was asking them about themselves because people love to talk about themselves, right? I loved. So what do you do? I really get interested, and I was really interested. I was curious, right? But when you go into that situation fearful, it's that story that I tell in Egypt, where I was treated like a prince everywhere I went. I ran into another American who's everybody wanted to fight him everywhere he went. But he went into that country as a Christian man, afraid that the Muslims didn't like him, and so everywhere he went, people wanted to fight him. He was a butthead, right? But that was what he believed. His beliefs gave him the bad experience. And it really comes back to we are the creator of all of our experiences, be it conscious or subconscious. And a lot of our beliefs are subconscious because of the idea that they've been given to us by our parents, and they're just theirs from birth. They were given to us as a young child. You could talk to the people who were born into families that were in cults. You find it's a fascinating story to listen to because they just believed it was all true, right? And then at the end, they found out it's not. It was mind-blowing, and then years of therapy to understand what they were doing, right? But it comes down to the idea of your beliefs are creative, and you don't always have control of what your beliefs are. Your beliefs are given to you. And when you strip away and you become as a child before those beliefs, you enter the kingdom of heaven. I hope that answers your question. And you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.